At my own birthday dinner, Mom murmured to Dad, "Since everyone's here, have your son go replace the locks." Over at her apartment. My brother nodded and then left for an hour. He returned whiter than the tablecloth and quietly whispered Mom there. You know, it was my 32nd birthday. I was sitting there in my favorite cafe, surrounded by everyone I loved, and then I heard it. A whispered instruction from my dad, "Go change the locks at her apartment." My blood ran cold. What on earth did they know that I didn't? 3 years earlier, I thought I had found my person. Tyler Jenkins. We met at a digital marketing conference in Chicago. I was presenting, he was client-side, and our panel discussion turned into coffee, then dinner, then weekend trips. Eventually, he moved across states to be with me. His amber eyes, the way he genuinely listened, he made me feel truly seen. When he suggested moving in after 18 months, I didn't even hesitate. Our apartment wasn't just a space, it was our sanctuary, filled with photos of our adventures, hiking in Colorado, wine tasting in Napa, visiting my family. We talked about marriage, about kids. He'd even casually mention beautiful babies with his brown skin and hazel eyes. These weren't just empty words. We discussed timelines, savings, even browsed neighborhoods with good schools. My career was soaring. I was a marketing executive at Atlas Media, just landed a huge promotion. The work was demanding, but fulfilling. Sometimes I'd be home after 9, other times he would. We understood each other's drive. And I was fiercely independent. My grandmother had always drilled into me the importance of my own money. A woman should always be able to buy herself a house and feed herself without depending on anyone, she'd say. So, even though we shared household expenses, our finances stayed separate. Or so I thought. My family had welcomed Tyler mostly. But there was always this slight reservation, this edge I attributed to normal protectiveness. My older brother, Kyle, a security consultant, would ask questions about Tyler's background that felt like an interrogation. My mom, Diana, with her uncanny intuition, would study him during our Sunday dinners, her expression thoughtful. Dad, steady as always, was friendlier but still watched. I'd roll my eyes, but secretly I appreciated their vigilance. Then, things started to change. Slowly. 2 months before my birthday, Tyler started working late. Not just an hour, but after midnight, several times a week. Big clients, he'd explain. Intensive prep. Client dinners. I understood. Hadn't I done the same? Then, his phone suddenly got a password. When I raised an eyebrow, he laughed it off. Client confidentiality. His formerly open phone now lay face down. Texts would arrive late, and he'd step outside to answer them. Again, I rationalized it. Professional boundaries. Next came the unexplained expenses. Nothing major, but restaurant charges in places we'd never been. Rideshare trips at odd hours. Small jewelry purchases. When I'd ask, casually, Tyler had an answer for everything. Networking events, client transport, a gift for his sister. His explanations came so quickly, so confidently, they made me doubt my own suspicions. Our physical affection waned. Fewer kisses, shorter embraces, intimacy initiated less often. Work stress, he'd say. Tired from a new fitness regimen. Seasonal allergies. Each excuse in isolation seemed reasonable. Weekend plans? They evaporated. A client emergency, a sudden business trip, helping a friend move, our Saturday coffee and farmer's market routine disappeared. My 32nd birthday approached, and Tyler felt miles away. The final disappointment came 3 days before when he regretfully informed me he couldn't make my birthday dinner. An important client, an emergency strategy session. I tried to reschedule, babe, but they're flying in. The account is worth millions, he said, looking genuinely torn. We'll celebrate just us this weekend. Anywhere you want. I nodded, swallowing a bitter pill of disappointment. My family immediately stepped up. Mom reserved a private room at Bellini's, my favorite Italian restaurant. Don't worry about Tyler, she said, with an odd, firm edge to her voice. We'll make sure your day is special. I didn't realize then that she wasn't just being supportive. She was preparing for something far more serious. The week before my birthday, small incidents accumulated like storm clouds. While doing laundry, I found a receipt in Tyler's jacket, Cassandra's Jewelers, $800. Our anniversary had passed 2 months prior with just flowers and dinner. When I casually mentioned it, he snatched the receipt. That was supposed to be a surprise for your birthday, he snapped. Thanks for ruining it. I apologized, feeling guilty for snooping, for ruining a potential surprise. But something felt off. More anger than disappointment. I dismissed it. 3 days before, I overheard Tyler on the phone in the spare bedroom, hushed tones. She doesn't suspect anything. No, everything's on schedule. Don't worry, I've taken care of it. Yes, Thursday night would be perfect while she's at dinner. I walked in, and he abruptly ended the call. Work stuff, he explained smoothly. Coordinating surprise client deliverables. When I pressed him, he became furiously defensive. Do I need to record my work calls for your approval now? This project is stressful enough without the third degree. His uncharacteristic sharpness left me speechless. I retreated, apologizing, mentally cataloging this new behavior. That evening, my friend Jasmine called about birthday plans. Casually, she said, "Hey, I saw Tyler downtown yesterday with some clients." I waved, but he must not have seen me. My stomach plummeted. Tyler had told me he was at an all-day strategy session in the suburbs. Are you sure? I choked out. Positive. Outside Remington Tower, around 2 o'clock. Dark blue suit, that messenger bag he always carries. I manufactured an excuse about a surprise downtown meeting and changed the subject. Later, I asked Tyler about his suburban meeting. Productive, he said without looking up from his laptop. He said nothing about downtown. What other lies were accumulating between us? Despite all these signals, I rationalized everything away. He was planning a birthday surprise. Work pressure made him secretive. Downtown meetings happen sometimes. I was just paranoid. Our foundation was too solid to question over minor inconsistencies. The morning of my birthday arrived, and Tyler was already gone. A note. Happy birthday. Early client breakfast. See you tonight. A single rose lay beside it. Pretty, but impersonal. He returned briefly while I got ready, a quick peck on the cheek, a small wrapped box. Something to wear tonight. A simple silver bracelet. Beautiful, but it lacked the personal touch of previous gifts. No engraving, no significance. I thanked him, fighting disappointment. As he dressed, a text notification flashed on his phone. Can't wait to see you later. Everything's ready. The sender? Not visible. My brother Kyle called unusually early. Just checking what time dinner is. Also, do you need me to pick up anything from your place beforehand? No. Why would you need to come to my apartment? I asked, confused. Just offering, he backpedaled. Thought you might need something brought to the restaurant. My mother called next, her questions oddly specific. Is Tyler there now? What time is he leaving? Will you two be coming separately? When I mentioned Tyler's work commitment, her silence spoke volumes. I see. Well, we'll make sure you have a wonderful evening regardless. Alone in our apartment, getting ready for dinner, emotions washed over me. 3 years, and he prioritized work over my birthday. I tried to focus on my makeup, blinking back tears, telling myself I was overreacting. Opening the closet, I noticed Tyler's weekend suitcase. Partially packed. A work trip he hadn't mentioned. The sinking feeling intensified. I dropped an earring and it rolled under the bed. Reaching for it, I found something else. Another earring. Silver with a small blue stone. Unfamiliar. Definitely not mine. My hands trembled. I searched for an innocent explanation. A friend? Something that came with furniture? The possibilities felt increasingly implausible. Still, I placed the strange earring in my jewelry box. Tonight was my birthday. I deserved to celebrate without drama. Tomorrow, I told myself, tomorrow would be time for difficult questions. I arrived at Bellini's at 7. My family greeted me with hugs, their enthusiasm forced. Dad hugged me longer than usual. Mom studied my face with poorly concealed concern. Kyle's hug felt protective, almost apologetic. The private dining room looked beautiful. Flowers, candles, a happy birthday banner. And an empty chair. The one where Tyler should have sat. My eyes kept drifting to it. Throughout appetizers, my family exchanged glances when they thought I wasn't looking. Kyle checked his phone every few minutes, typing rapid responses. My mother maintained an artificial cheerfulness that never reached her eyes. Dad asked strangely detailed questions about my apartment building. Cameras in the parking lot? Changed access codes recently. When I questioned his concerns, he waved them off. Just thinking about urban safety. Can never be too careful. Their behavior intensified my unease. They knew something. The tension permeated the room like invisible smoke. Midway through our main course, Mom's phone chimed. Her face paled. She leaned toward Dad, whispering urgently. Their conference lasted intense minutes, their expressions growing troubled. Dad nodded grimly, then turned to Kyle. "Well, everyone's here," he said quietly, but loud enough for me to hear. "Go change the locks at her apartment." Kyle nodded, immediately standing, apologizing about an emergency call. He squeezed my shoulder before leaving, his expression betraying concern, not birthday wishes. My mind raced. Change my locks? What emergency? An icy dread went through me. They thought Tyler was a threat. Memories cascaded. His recent secrecy. The packed suitcase. The password-protected phone. The jewelry receipt. The earring under the bed. Pieces clicked into a horrifying mosaic. Tyler asking about my investment accounts, if I kept statements at home, if my passwords were saved on our shared laptop. I'd thought he was showing interest in our future. Other realizations surfaced. Small things had gone missing. Diamond earrings from my grandmother, an expensive watch, commemorative coins. I'd attributed them to misplacement. My stomach clenched. Another memory. Tyler encouraging me to add him to my apartment lease 6 months ago. I declined, citing my grandmother's advice about separate finances. He'd been unexpectedly angry about that boundary. I excused myself to the restroom, locking myself in a stall, trying to control my breathing. My hand shook. I almost called Tyler, demanded an explanation. Instead, I checked my phone. A text from an unknown number. "Your boyfriend isn't who you think he is. Check your bank accounts." Legs unsteady, I returned to the table, forcing a smile. My friends and family redoubled their efforts. Jasmine launched into a workplace drama story. My cousin did card tricks. Mom encouraged everyone to share childhood memories. Their transparent distraction only heightened my anxiety. Between stories, Mom checked her watch. Dad stepped outside twice for calls, returning with a tightened jaw. I caught fragments, should have been back. What did you find? How serious? 45 minutes passed. No Kyle. It didn't take an hour to change locks. Mom's phone checks became less subtle. Dad called Kyle, stepping away, and I heard, "What did you find?" The gift-giving started. I opened presents mechanically, thanking everyone while feeling utterly disconnected. These normal rituals felt surreal against the growing dread. As my friend Alicia described her gift, a leather journal, I saw my parents exchange worried glances after another text. My mother's knuckles were white around her phone. "Shouldn't Kyle be back by now?" I finally asked, unable to maintain the pretense. "It doesn't take an hour to change locks." An uncomfortable silence. Dad cleared his throat, preparing a carefully constructed response. Before he could speak, I continued. "What's happening? Why are you changing my locks? What do you know about Tyler that I don't?" "Sweetheart," Mom began, reaching for my hand. "We should discuss this privately." "No," I insisted, my voice rising despite the restaurant setting. "I want to know now what's going on that requires changing my locks during my birthday dinner." The painful silence stretched. Dad sighed deeply. "We received some concerning information about Tyler today. We wanted to secure your apartment before." The private room door opened, interrupting him. Kyle entered, his face grim. He approached our parents, bending to whisper urgently. I caught fragments. "Mom, there's someone else there." And that's not all. My family huddled, their expressions growing more troubled. Whatever Kyle had discovered clearly exceeded even their worst expectations. I stood abruptly, chairs scraping loudly. "Tell me what's happening right now," I demanded, advancing toward them. "This is my life. My apartment. My relationship. I deserve to know. The restaurant felt suffocating. The cheerful music, the flickering candles, the birthday decorations, it all formed a grotesque contrast to the family crisis unfolding. Kyle approached me first. "Kesha, we need to talk somewhere private," he said gently. "This isn't the place." "Tell me now," I insisted, my voice steadier than I felt. "Whatever it is, I can handle it." My family exchanged glances. Dad nodded reluctantly. Kyle guided me back to my seat while my parents dismissed my friends with quiet explanations. Soon, only family remained. "We received a call this afternoon," Dad began carefully, "from a woman named Vanessa Johnson." The unfamiliar name hung in the air. "She discovered some disturbing information about Tyler. She believed she was his only girlfriend until finding photos of you in his wallet yesterday." My mouth went instantly dry. "What are you saying?" "Tyler has been seeing this woman for 8 months, Kyle explained, holding my gaze despite the pain his words caused. "When she confronted him, he claimed you were just a roommate. She didn't believe him and did some digging. She found evidence he's been systematically stealing from you." My mother added softly, "Financial documents, account numbers. She called us because she found our contact information in his notes, listed as emergency contacts for you," Kyle continued grimly. "When I arrived at your apartment to change the locks, I found Tyler there with Vanessa. They were arguing about leaving your apartment." He hesitated. "He was packing up valuables, electronics, jewelry. They had suitcases and boxes ready." My brother pulled out his phone, reluctantly, showing me photos. Tyler and an attractive woman standing amid packed luggage in my living room. My television unmounted. Jewelry boxes open. Financial documents spread across the dining table, many bearing my signature. Or what looked like it. "He's been transferring money from your accounts," Kyle explained. "Small amounts over time, plus a larger transfer yesterday. Almost $20,000 total." The room tilted. Blood rushed from my head. 3 years, building what I thought was a future, while he plotted systematic theft. "The woman, Vanessa, she didn't know," my father added. "She's as shocked as you are. Apparently, Tyler told her your apartment was his, that he was letting you stay temporarily as a favor to a friend. He had plans to leave today," Kyle continued. "After your birthday dinner, while you were celebrating with us. He intended to take everything valuable from you and disappear." My mother's eyes filled with tears. "We wanted to secure your home before telling you. We never imagined he'd be there already, or that it would be this extensive." The betrayal expanded beyond romantic infidelity into calculated criminal behavior. Every loving gesture, every promise, every shared dream, recontextualized as grooming for eventual theft. "I need to see," I said, standing abruptly. "I need to go to my apartment now." "The police are already there," Kyle explained. "I called them immediately when I discovered what was happening. They're taking statements and cataloging evidence." "Then that's where I need to be," I insisted. "This is my home, my life. I need to see exactly what he's done." Despite their concerns, my family couldn't argue. Kyle drove me, my parents followed separately. "There's more," Kyle warned as we walked to his car. "Tyler has been selling your possessions online, gradually. Smaller items you might not immediately notice. Designer bags, some jewelry, collectibles." The receipts were in a folder labeled inventory. Each new revelation landed like a physical blow. Items I'd thought misplaced had been sold by the man sharing my bed. The careful planning for such systematic theft made me physically ill. "He forged your signature on loan documents," Kyle continued reluctantly. "Took out a personal loan in your name for $30,000 last month. The funds were transferred to an account we don't recognize." "How did I miss this?" I whispered, buckling into the passenger seat. "He was careful," Kyle responded. "Professional con artists usually are." The description landed heavily. Tyler wasn't just a cheating boyfriend. He was a predator who had specifically targeted me. "There's evidence of other women, too," Kyle added gently. "Photos, messages. This appears to be his pattern." My phone displayed 4 missed calls from Tyler during our drive. As we pulled into my apartment complex, a 5th came through. I declined it silently. A text bubble appeared. "Babe, there's been a huge misunderstanding. Call me ASAP." An unfamiliar car occupied my assigned parking space, presumably Vanessa's. Two police cruisers flanked it, their presence simultaneously reassuring and humiliating. My deception would now become official record. I straightened my spine. Whatever awaited inside, I would face it directly. My brother beside me, parents following, officers awaiting, a support system Tyler had never anticipated. He expected to disappear while I celebrated obliviously. Instead, he would face exactly what he had created. "Ready?" Kyle asked, hand on my shoulder. I nodded, stepping toward my apartment building. 3 years of lies were about to meet their reckoning. The locksmith Kyle had hired worked quickly, installing new deadbolts, providing fresh keys. The original keys dangled from my brother's keychain, permanently invalidated. Using the new key felt symbolic, reclaiming ownership of a space that had nearly been stolen. Upon opening my apartment door, the animated voices inside instantly silenced. My living room, normally immaculate, resembled a staging area for moving day. Suitcases stood by the door, boxes lined the wall, valuables gathered on the dining table. Seeing my possessions organized for theft was surreal. Tyler stood near the balcony door, his face transitioning from argumentative to shocked. As I entered with Kyle and 2 officers behind me, a striking woman with copper hair, Vanessa, sat on my sofa, eyes red from crying. "Kesha." Tyler recovered quickly, his voice shifting to relieved. "Thank God you're here." This crazy woman broke into our apartment claiming to be my girlfriend. "The police aren't listening. Tell them we're together." His performance was flawless. The concerned boyfriend, seeking help against a deranged intruder. Had I not seen Kyle's photos and heard my family's explanations, his act might have convinced me. "Save it," I responded, my voice cold. "I know everything." Tyler's expression faltered, then recalibrated. "Babe, whatever she told you is crazy. I just met her last week at a networking event. She's stalking me." Vanessa stood, incredulity replacing sadness. "Are you kidding me right now? We've been dating 8 months. I have hundreds of photos, texts, receipts." "Officers," I addressed the police directly. "This man has been transferring money from my accounts without permission and apparently forging my signature on loan documents. My brother discovered him removing valuables from my apartment. I want to press charges." Tyler's facade cracked further. "Kesha, come on. We can talk about this privately. There's a reasonable explanation for everything. Like the jewelry you've been selling online?" I questioned. "Or the loan you took out in my name. Or perhaps you'd like to explain these packed suitcases on my birthday." As realization dawned that his manipulation had failed, Tyler's demeanor transformed entirely. The charming, loving partner vanished, replaced by cold calculation. "You can't prove anything," he stated flatly. "We've been living together. These are joint possessions." "Actually," Kyle interjected, "the apartment lease is solely in Kesha's name. You're not on any of the documentation, and we have evidence of the unauthorized transfers and forged signatures." Vanessa approached cautiously, maintaining distance from Tyler. "I had no idea," she told me directly. "He told me this was his apartment, that you were temporarily staying in. When I found your photo yesterday and confronted him, he claimed you were just a platonic roommate. I started investigating and found all these financial documents with your name." She gestured toward the dining table where papers lay scattered, bank statements, transfer authorizations, loan applications. My signature, or a reasonable facsimile, appeared on multiple documents I'd never seen before. "She showed up today demanding answers," Tyler attempted to explain to the officers. "I was just trying to calm her down by packing up my possessions." "These possessions?" I challenged, gesturing toward the suitcases. Opening the nearest one revealed my laptop, jewelry cases, and several designer handbags. "I can explain everything," Tyler insisted, desperation entering his voice. "Kesha, we've been together 3 years. Are you really going to believe some random woman over me?" The police officer intervened. "Sir, there's considerable evidence of potential theft and forgery here. We'll need statements from everyone, and I recommend you come to the station voluntarily." Tyler's face hardened. His eyes darted toward the door, calculating escape possibilities with officers blocking the exit. A strange calm settled over me as I fully comprehended the magnitude of his betrayal. The shock and emotional turmoil receded, replaced by icy determination. "You have 30 minutes," I stated evenly, "to collect only your personal clothing. Nothing else. My brother and these officers will supervise. After that, you're never to contact me again." "You're overreacting." Tyler attempted, switching tactics. "This is just a misunderstanding about finances between partners. Partners don't forge signatures or drain accounts," I responded. "Partners don't plan escapes with stolen property, and partners certainly don't maintain relationships with multiple women simultaneously." Vanessa approached me, holding out a small pouch. "I found these in his car," she said. "My grandmother's sapphire earrings I'd thought lost months ago. A gold bracelet from my 21st birthday, my college class ring. He told me they were family heirlooms he was planning to have reset for me," she explained, voice trembling. "I'm so sorry. I had no idea they were stolen." The personal violation intensified. Not only had Tyler stolen my possessions, but he'd repurposed family heirlooms as romantic gifts for another woman. While Tyler gathered clothing under Kyle's watchful eye, my father arrived with more devastating news. "The bank confirmed unauthorized transfers from your investment account," he reported quietly. "Almost $40,000 over the past 3 months, including a large transfer yesterday. They've frozen everything pending investigation." My mother embraced me silently, her earlier suspicions now painfully validated. "One officer took detailed photographs, transforming my home into evidence. We'll need documentation of all potentially stolen items," he explained. "Account statements showing unauthorized transactions, proof of ownership for valuable items, and any evidence of forgery." Tyler emerged from the bedroom with a single duffel bag, his expression now coldly tactical. "This isn't over," he stated flatly. "Half of everything here is legally mine under common law." "That's incorrect," my father interjected. "There's no common law marriage in the state, and cohabitation doesn't establish ownership rights to individually purchased property." Tyler's miscalculation revealed another layer of his character. He'd researched enough to execute sophisticated financial theft, but failed to understand basic property law. His confidence had presumed my ignorance. As officers prepared to escort Tyler for questioning, he attempted one final manipulation. "Kesha, think about what you're doing. 3 years together, thrown away over a financial misunderstanding. I love you. We can work through this." The hollowness of his declaration highlighted how completely our relationship had been fabricated. Every "I love you" recontextualized as strategic advancement toward eventual theft. "The locks have been changed," I responded evenly. "Any attempt to return will result in trespassing charges." My father contacted our family attorney as officers departed with Tyler. The lawyer immediately began processing an emergency restraining order. Property recovery and identity theft protection became immediate priorities. Vanessa remained, providing additional context to Tyler's double life. They'd met at a coffee shop, his preferred hunting ground, I remembered bitterly, and developed a relationship built on similar lies. "He told me he was a marketing executive with family money," she explained. "Always generous with gifts that, apparently, were stolen from you. Always had explanations for why I couldn't come to his place. Business trips, renovations, family visiting." Her experience paralleled mine so precisely. It suggested scripted behavior. Tyler had perfected his techniques, refining his approach with each new target. "There are others," Vanessa confirmed, showing me social media posts she'd discovered from women sharing similar experiences under different names. "He operated in 3 different cities that I've confirmed, probably more." The predatory pattern extended back years. Tyler wasn't an opportunist. He was a practiced con artist. As evening deepened, my birthday celebration thoroughly destroyed, I surveyed the apartment that no longer felt like home. Every surface held memories now poisoned. Every photograph, a documentation of elaborate fiction. The protective circle of family surrounding me offered small comfort against the magnitude of betrayal. The path forward remained unclear, but one certainty emerged. The life I'd believed in just hours earlier had never truly existed. My family refused to leave me alone that first night. Kyle claimed the sofa. My parents took the guest room. I retreated to my bedroom after stripping the sheets Tyler had slept on just that morning. Sleep was elusive. Adrenaline and shock kept my mind cycling through memories, reinterpreting 3 years of experiences through newly revealed truth. By sunrise, we initiated systematic recovery efforts. Kyle helped change all digital passwords, email, social media, banking, investment accounts, anything Tyler might have accessed. My mother contacted credit bureaus to freeze new account creation. Dad arranged a meeting with our financial advisor to assess the damage. The financial toll became quickly apparent. Beyond the directly stolen funds, Tyler had opened credit cards in my name, taken cash advances, and sold numerous possessions. Preliminary estimates suggested losses exceeding $70,000. The systematic nature of the theft suggested long-term planning, not impulsive decisions. He started small, the bank fraud investigator explained during our morning call, testing transfers of a few hundred, watching for reactions. When those went unnoticed, he increased amounts gradually. Classic technique to avoid triggering fraud alerts. The identity theft extended beyond financial accounts. Tyler had created email addresses similar to mine, established utility accounts using my information, and even investigated real estate opportunities using my credit profile. His methodical approach revealed sophisticated premeditation. My emotional state fluctuated between rage, humiliation, and crushing grief. Ordinary activities became overwhelming. Brushing my teeth in the bathroom we'd shared, making coffee in the kitchen where we'd prepared countless meals, sitting on furniture where we'd cuddled watching movies. Every corner of my apartment contained emotional landmines. Tyler's manipulation attempts continued through intermediaries. Text messages from unknown numbers delivered his pleas. Friends I hadn't spoken with in months suddenly called, explaining Tyler had contacted them with concerns about my mental state and family interference. He claims it's all a misunderstanding and your family has turned you against him, my college friend Lauren reported. He sounded genuinely concerned. I'd have believed him if you hadn't told me what happened. His ability to project sincerity despite overwhelming evidence was both impressive and terrifying. How many people had fallen for similar performances? Kyle discovered Tyler had self-published financial advice books under pseudonyms, each containing chapters on building trust with financial partners and securing your relationship assets. What I'd interpreted as career ambition now revealed itself as research and development for systematic exploitation. Vanessa contacted me again, suggesting coffee at a neutral location. She shared additional insights from her 8 months with Tyler. He always had explanations for everything, she recounted. Schedule conflicts, mysterious phone calls, financial windfalls. I questioned things occasionally, but he made me feel paranoid for doubting him. Her experience mirrored mine. It suggested scripted behavior. Tyler had perfected his techniques. There are others, Vanessa confirmed, showing me social media posts from women sharing similar stories. He operated in 3 different cities, probably more. Tyler wasn't an opportunist. He was a practiced con artist. My professional life demanded attention despite the chaos. Thankfully, my supervisor at Atlas Media responded with unexpected compassion. Take 2 weeks paid, she insisted. Identity theft is traumatic, especially from someone you trusted. Your projects are covered. Focus on recovery. Her response highlighted the contrast between authentic support and Tyler's counterfeit concern. Real relationships offered space for vulnerability. His exploitation had required my constant strength. Practical recovery steps filled my days. Police detectives gathered evidence. Lawyers prepared civil recovery actions. Financial advisors rebuilt security protocols. Each conversation requiring the humiliating recounting of my deception. Nights brought emotional processing no professional could fully address. My journal became an essential therapeutic outlet, pages filled with rage, confusion, and emerging insights about warning signs I'd ignored. Financial abuse follows recognizable patterns, my therapist explained during our first emergency session. The isolation from financial knowledge, gradual boundary testing, and exploitation of trust are unfortunately common. This doesn't reflect your intelligence or judgment. Her assurance offered minimal comfort against overwhelming evidence of my failure to protect myself. Years of priding myself on independence and financial literacy hadn't prevented sophisticated predation. Support expanded beyond family. Friends organized cleaning crews, rearranging furniture and redecorating to create visual breaks from spaces Tyler had occupied. Colleagues delivered meals. My apartment building management enhanced security protocols. 1 week after the discovery, Tyler was arrested on multiple charges, including grand theft, identity fraud, and forgery. His bail hearing revealed previous arrests in other states under different names, escalating potential consequences. The prosecution's evidence included meticulous records he'd maintained of his systematic theft. His organizational skills ultimately contributing to his downfall. My brother temporarily moved into my spare bedroom, providing security and practical support while legal proceedings advanced. Though emotional security remained a distant objective, daily discoveries of Tyler's deception continued. Hidden storage units contained items missing months earlier. Email accounts revealed networking with other con artists. Bank investigations uncovered offshore transfers, suggesting a more extensive operation. The comprehensive betrayal extended beyond romantic deception into existential questioning. If someone could convincingly fake love for 3 years, what other relationships might prove illusory? What instincts could I trust when my judgment had failed so catastrophically? 6 months after my birthday revelation, tangible progress emerged from the chaos. Financial recovery advanced steadily through insurance claims, civil judgments, and recovered assets from Tyler's storage units. Approximately 60% of stolen funds returned, with payment plans established for remaining amounts. Legal proceedings against Tyler gained momentum as additional victims came forward after media coverage of his arrest. Prosecutors built a comprehensive case spanning multiple jurisdictions, revealing a pattern of financial exploitation targeting professional women across 3 states. His sophisticated approach qualified for enhanced sentencing guidelines under organized crime statutes. My apartment underwent a complete transformation. New furniture, different paint colors, rearranged layout. The space that once triggered painful memories gradually became a sanctuary again, filled with items representing only my preferences. Professional advancement provided unexpected healing. The marketing campaign I developed after returning from leave received industry recognition, leading to another promotion and team leadership. "You rebuilt from scratch," my director noted during my performance review. That resilience translates directly to leadership capacity. "You've demonstrated exceptional strength." Internal strength remained a work in progress, but external recognition provided milestones, marking the distance traveled from devastation. 1 year after the betrayal, perspective gained clarity. My 33rd birthday celebration, an intimate gathering at a new restaurant, contrasted sharply with the previous year's devastating revelation. "A year ago today, my mother toasted, 'We thought we were protecting you from loss. Instead, we witnessed your incredible rebirth.' I've never been prouder." The journey toward that rebirth had required intentional reconstruction in all life domains. Financial security now included quarterly credit monitoring, separate checking and investment accounts with enhanced verification protocols, and regular consultation with a financial advisor specializing in identity theft recovery. Physical security encompassed an advanced apartment security system, strategic social media privacy management, and comprehensive background checks for potential relationships. These precautions initially felt like paranoia, but gradually integrated into normal routine. Emotional security proved most challenging, yet most crucial. Therapy sessions evolved from crisis management to deeper exploration of relationship patterns and trust rebuilding. My journal documented progress from raw victimhood through anger toward eventual perspective and integration. "The experience doesn't define you," my therapist reminded me. "It informed your growth, but doesn't determine your capacity for future connection." Relationships with family transformed through shared adversity. Weekly dinners evolved from obligation to cherished tradition. My mother's intuition earned newfound respect. "I always knew something felt off about him," she admitted. but I couldn't identify specific concerns beyond instinct. I questioned my own judgment. That makes two of us, I responded, a newfound ability to find humor in painful truth, marking a significant healing milestone. My brother Kyle's protective instincts balanced with respect for my independence, offering security suggestions without imposing solutions. Dad's steady wisdom provided a foundation. His example of healthy masculinity helped preserve my ability to eventually consider trusting men again. Personal growth extended beyond relationship patterns into broader self-understanding. Therapy revealed people-pleasing tendencies and excessive self-reliance had created vulnerability. Perfectionism and achievement orientation had prevented acknowledging relationship concerns that contradicted the successful image I maintained. The warning signs were there. I journaled 6 months into recovery. Not just his behaviors, but my discomfort I repeatedly dismissed. I prioritized relationship success over personal truth. Never again. Learning to honor internal warning systems became critical. Physical sensations of unease, emotional discomfort with explanations, cognitive dissonance between words and actions. These subtle signals now received immediate attention, rather than rationalization. Dating remained a distant consideration until 18 months after the discovery. Initial attempts felt mechanical, hypervigilance preventing authentic connection. Gradually, careful selection and appropriate pacing allowed tentative steps toward potential partnership, though with radically different expectations and boundaries. I'm not looking for someone to complete me or fulfill a specific role, I explained to David, the first man I dated seriously post-Tyler. I'm whole independently. A relationship would be complementary, not foundational to my identity. The distinction represented a profound shift. Compatibility replaced completion as a primary objective. Trust should be earned incrementally, my therapist advised, not given completely up front or withheld permanently. It's a dynamic process requiring ongoing confirmation. This balanced approach extended beyond romantic connections into friendships, professional relationships, and family dynamics. Boundaries became clearly articulated. Expectations explicitly discussed. 2 years after the betrayal, life rebuilt on a more authentic foundation than before. Career advancement continued through intentional development. My home environment reflected genuine personal preferences. Relationships developed at an appropriate pace with healthy boundaries. Most importantly, my relationship with myself strengthened through adversity. Self-trust gradually rebuilt through consistent self-honoring choices. Internal wisdom received attention previously reserved for external validation. Personal values clarified through contrast with their violation. The experience that once threatened to define my life story gradually integrated into a broader narrative, a painful chapter, rather than the entire book. Victimhood transformed into survivorship, then eventually into thriving beyond mere recovery. The lessons extracted from betrayal proved valuable beyond personal healing. Trust your intuition when something feels wrong, even without concrete evidence. Value family and friends who see truth when you're temporarily blinded. Recognize strength emerges through surviving what once seemed unsurvivable. Understand freedom exists in releasing relationships that require sacrificing authenticity. Build life on foundations you control entirely. These truths emerged not as bitter warnings, but as empowering guideposts directing future choices toward greater authenticity and self-protection without sacrificing openness to genuine connection. Life rebuilds differently after profound betrayal, not replicating what existed before, but creating something stronger, more authentic, and ultimately more satisfying than what was lost. What about you? What's your story of trusting your gut, or maybe experiencing a betrayal that reshaped your world? Have you ever had that moment where everything suddenly made sense in hindsight? Tell me what you think. I really want to know.